Chapter 4 Animal Kingdom. When you look around, you will observe different animals with different structures and forms. As over a million species of animals have been described till now, the need for classification becomes all the more important. The classification also helps in assigning a systematic position to newly described species. 4.1 Basis of classification. In spite of differences in structure and form of different animals, there are fundamental features common to various individuals in relation to the arrangement of cells, body symmetry, nature of coelom, patterns of digestive, circulatory, or reproductive systems. These features are used as the basis of animal classification, and some of them are described here. 4.1.1 Levels of Organization. Though all members of Animalia are multicellular, all of them do not exhibit the same pattern of organization of cells. For example, in sponges, the cells are arranged as loose cell aggregates, that is, they exhibit cellular level of organization. Some division of labor activities occur among these cells. In coelentrates, the arrangement of cells is more complex. Here, the cells performing the same function are arranged into tissues. Hence, it is called as tissue level of organization. A still higher level of organization, that is, organ level, is exhibited by members of platyhelminths and other higher phyla, where tissues are grouped together to form organs, each specialized for a particular function. In animals like annelids, arthropods, mollusks, echinoderms, and chordates, organs have associated to form functional systems, each system concerned with a specific physiological function. This pattern is called as organ system level of organization. Organ systems in different groups of animals exhibit various patterns of complexities. For example, the digestive system in platyhelminths has only a single opening to the outside of the body that serves as both anus and mouth, and it is hence called as incomplete. A complete digestive system has two openings, mouth and anus. Similarly, the circulatory system may be of two types. First is open type, in which the blood is pumped out of the heart and the cells and tissues are directly bathed in it. And second is closed type, in which the blood is circulated through a series of vessels of varying diameters, that is, arteries, veins, and capillaries. 4.1.2 Symmetry. Animals can be categorized on the basis of their symmetry. Sponges are mostly asymmetrical, that is, any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal halves. When any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into two identical halves, it is called as radial symmetry. Coelentrates, ctenophores, and echinoderms have this kind of body plan. Animals like annelids, arthropods, etc., where the body can be divided into identical left and right hulls in only one plane, exhibit bilateral symmetry. 4.1.3 Diploblastic and triploblastic organization. Animals in which the cells are arranged in two embryonic layers, an external ectoderm and an internal endoderm, are called as diploblastic animals, example coelentrates. An undifferentiated layer, mesoglia, is present in between the ectoderm and endoderm. Those animals in which the developing embryo has a third germinal layer, mesoderm, in between the ectoderm and endoderm are called as triploblastic animals, that is, from platyhelminths to chordates. 4.1.4 Coelom. Presence or absence of a cavity between the body wall and the gut wall is very important in classification. The body cavity which is lined by mesoderm is called as coelom. Animals possessing coelom are called as coelomates. Example annelids, mollusks, arthropods, echinoderms, hemichordates and chordates. In some animals, the body cavity is not lined by mesoderm. Instead, the mesoderm is present as scattered pouches in between the ectoderm and endoderm. Such a body cavity is called as pseudocoelom, and the animals possessing them are called as pseudocoelomates. Example Aschelmanthus. The animals in which the body cavity is absent are called as acoelomates. Example Platyhelminths. 4.1.5 Segmentation. In some animals, the body is externally and internally divided into segments with a serial repetition of at least some organs. For example, in earthworm, the body shows this pattern called as metameric segmentation, and the phenomenon is known as metamerism. 4.1.6 Notochord. Notochord is a mesodermally derived rod-like structure formed on the dorsal side during embryonic development in some animals. Animals with notochord are called as chordates, and those animals which do not form this structure are called as non-chordates. Example Porifera to echinoderms. 4.2 Classification of animals. The broad classification of Animalia, based on common fundamental features as mentioned in the preceding sections, is given in Figure 4.4. The important characteristic features of the different phyla are described. 4.2.1 Phylum Porifera. Members of this phylum are commonly known as sponges. They are generally marine and mostly asymmetrical animals. These are primitive multicellular animals and have cellular level of organization. Sponges have a water transport or canal system. Water enters through minute pores ostia in the body wall into a central cavity spongiocele from where it goes out through osculum. This pathway of water transport is helpful in food gathering, respiratory exchange, and removal of waste. Choanocytes or collar cells line the spongiocele and the canals. Digestion is intracellular. The body is supported by a skeleton made up of spicules or spongian fibers. Sexes are not separate, that is, hermaphrodite, that is, eggs and sperms are produced by the same individual. Sponges reproduce asexually by fragmentation and sexually by formation of gametes. Fertilization is internal and development is indirect, having a larval stage which is morphologically distinct from the adult. Examples Sycon, that is Sypha, Spongilla, that is freshwater sponge, and Euspongia, that is bath sponge. 4.2.2 Phylum Coelenterata or Nidaria. They are aquatic, mostly marine, sessile, or free swimming, radially symmetrical animals. The name Nidaria is derived from the nidoblast or nidocyte, which contain the stinging capsules or nematocysts present on the tentacles and the body. Nidoblasts are used for anchorage, defense, and for capture of prey. Cnidarians exhibit tissue level of organization and are diploblastic. They have a central gastrovascular cavity with a single opening mouth on hypostome. Digestion is extracellular and intracellular. Some of the cnidarians, example corals, have a skeleton composed of calcium carbonate. Cnidarians exhibit two basic body forms called as polyp and medusa. The former is sessile and cylindrical form like hydra, Damsia, etc. whereas the latter is umbrella shaped and free swimming like Aurelia or jellyfish. Those cnidarians, which exist in both forms, exhibit alternation of generation, which is also known as metagenesis. That is, polyps produce medusa asexually and medusa forms the polyp sexually. Example, Obelia. Examples of Coelenterata are Physalia, that is Portuguese man of war, Adamsia, which is sea anemone, Penatula, that is sea pain, Gorgonia, that is sea fan, and Meandrina, that is brain coral. 4.2.3 Phylum Ctenophora. Ctenophores, commonly known as sea walnuts or cone jellies, are exclusively marine, radially symmetrical, diploblastic organisms with tissue level of organization. The body bears 8 external rows of ciliated comb plates which help in locomotion. Digestion is both extracellular and intracellular. Bioluminescence, the property of a living organism to emit light, is well marked in ctenophores. Sexes are not separate. Reproduction takes place only by sexual means. Fertilization is external with indirect development. Examples, Leurobrachia and Ctenoplana. 4.2.4 Phylum Platyhelminthes. They have dorsoventrally flattened body, hence are called as flatworms. These are mostly endoparasites found in animals including human beings. Flatworms are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and acoelomate animals with organ level of organization. Hooks and suckers are present in the parasitic forms. Some of them absorb nutrients from the host directly through their body surface. Specialized cells called as flame cells helps in osmoregulation and excretion. Sexes are not separate. Fertilization is internal and development is through many larval stages. Some members like planaria possesses high regeneration capacity. Examples, Tania, that is tapeworm, and Fasciola, that is liver fluke. 4.2.5 Phylum Escalmenthus. The body of Escalmenthus is circular in cross section, hence the name roundworms. They may be free living, aquatic, and terrestrial or parasitic in plants and animals. Roundworms have organ system level of body organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and pseudocoelomate animals. Alimentary canal is complete with a well developed muscular pharynx. An excretory tube removes body wastes from the body cavity through the excretory pore. Sexes are separate, that is dioecious, that is males and females are distinct. Often females are longer than males. Fertilization is internal and development may be direct. The young ones resemble the adult or indirect. Examples, Ascaris, that is roundworm, Wucheria, that is filarial worm, and Encyclostoma, that is hookworm. 4.2.6 Phylum Annelida. They may be aquatic, marine, and freshwater, or terrestrial, free living, and sometimes parasitic. They exhibit organ system level of body organization and bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic, metamerically segmented, and coelomate animals. Their body surface is distinctly marked out into segments or metamers, and hence the phylum name Annelida, Latin is annulus, that is little ring. They possess longitudinal and circular muscles which help in locomotion. Aquatic annelids like Nereis possesses lateral appendages, that is parapodia, which helps in swimming. A closed circulatory system is present. Nephridia, singular is nephridium, helps in osmoregulation and excretion. Neural system consists of paired ganglia. Singular is ganglion connected by lateral nerves to a double ventral nerve cord. Nereis, an aquatic form, is dioecious, but earthworms and leeches are monoecious. Reproduction is sexual. Examples: Nereis, Ferritima, that is earthworm, and Hirudinaria, that is blood sucking leech. 4.2.7 Phylum Arthropoda. This is the largest phylum of Animalia, which includes insects. Over two-thirds of all named species on Earth are arthropods. They have organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, segmented, and coelomate animals. The body of arthropods is covered by chitinous exoskeleton. The body consists of head, thorax, and abdomen. They have jointed appendages. Arthros joint poda appendages. Respiratory organs are gills, book lungs, or tracheal system. Circulatory system is of open type. Sensory organs like antenna, eyes, compound and simple, statocysts or balancing organs are present. Excretion takes place through malphizian tubules. They are mostly dioecious. Fertilization is usually internal. They are mostly oviparous. Development may be direct or indirect. Examples: economically important insects, that is apis, honeybee, bombyx, silkworm, lacifer, that is lac insect. Vectors, example Anopheles, Culex, and Aedes mosquito. Gregarious pests, example Locusta, that is locust. Next is living fossil, example Limulus or king crab. 4.2.8 Phylum Mollusca. This is the second largest animal phylum. Mollusks are terrestrial or aquatic, marine, or freshwater, having an organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and coelomate animals. Body is covered by calcareous shell and is unsegmented with a distinct head, muscular foot, and visceral hump. A soft and spongy layer of skin forms a mantle over the visceral hump. The space between the hump and the mantle is called as mantle cavity, in which feather-like gills are present. They have respiratory and excretory functions. The anterior head region has sensory tentacles. The mouth contains a file-like grasping organ for feeding called as radula. They are usually dioecious and oviparous with indirect development. Examples: Pila, that is apple snail, Pinctada, that is pearl oyster, Sepia, that is cuttlefish, Loligo, that is squid, Octopus, that is devilfish, Aplysia, that is sea hare, Dentalium, that is tusk shell, and Chetoplura, that is chiton. 4.2.9 Phylum Echinodermata. These animals have an endoskeleton of calcareous ossicles and hence the name Echinodermata, spiny bodied. All are marine with organ system level of organization. The adult echinoderms are radially symmetrical, but larvae are bilaterally symmetrical. They are triploblastic and coelomate animals. Digestive system is complete with mouth on the lower ventral side and anus on the upper dorsal side. The most distinctive feature of echinoderms is the presence of water vascular system which helps in locomotion, capture and transport of food and respiration. An excretory system is absent. Sexes are separate. Reproduction is sexual. Fertilization is usually external. Development is indirect with free swimming larvae. Examples: Asterias, that is starfish, Echinus, that is sea urchin, Antedon, that is sea lily, Cucumaria, that is sea cucumber, and Ophiura, that is brittle star. 4.2.10 Phylum Hemichordata. Hemichordata was earlier considered as a subphylum under phylum Chordata, but now it is placed as a separate phylum under non-chordata. Hemichordates have a rudimentary structure in the collar region called a stomochord, a structure similar to notochord. This phylum consists of a small group of worm-like marine animals with organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and coelomate animals. The body is cylindrical and is composed of an anterior proboscis, a collar, and a long trunk. Circulatory system is of open type. Respiration takes place through gills. Excretory organ is proboscis gland. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is external and development is indirect. Example: Belanoglossus and Saccoglossus.